Ready to elevate your credit understanding and score? With insider tips and a plan, you can take action to improving your score, which can save thousands in unnecessary finance charges. Let's tackle today's topic with your coach, Credit Christy.
Hey friends, it's Christy, your credit coach. Thank you so much for joining me for another episode, and happy holidays to you. This time of year can be a very tricky time when it comes to your budget and to your credit. I remember in one of my very first jobs, they had this Christmas fund that you could set up where part of your pay goes towards feeding that. And at the time, I think I was a teenager and I thought, wow, that's so crazy that we have to have this almost forced savings account. And now as I'm older and my family has expanded, and my circle of friends has expanded, now I see the need of really budgeting well for this time of year. It's crazy, but it's a fact that the average American spends over $800 on gift giving at this time of year. Because we were on such extreme lockdowns last year, I know a lot of people are kind of overindulging on food, on spending, on traveling, on partying. And I just wanted to share a couple of tips that I hope will help keep us in check. So I pulled in some tips from some other people and just some things I've learned along the way. And I wanted to share it with you in hopes of keeping inside of what your goals are for your spending. Because what happens is we have a lot of fun going out shopping for those that we care most about. And we enjoy a wonderful holiday season. And then January comes when those credit card bills are due. And I know how bad that hurts. So first things first, look at who is on your Christmas list. Write out everybody who you want to buy a gift for. And I would bet there's a couple people you could actually cut off that list. Not because they're on the naughty list, but because you don't necessarily have to buy a gift for them. I'll give you an example. My sister and I were together last weekend and we started talking about who we're going to give gifts to and for, and if we should draw names. I don't know if you and your family has ever done that. We've put everybody's name that's going to be together on Christmas Day into a hat and we draw names and we buy a gift. And we set a limit on how much you can spend for that gift. But she and I had agreed we don't need to buy each other gifts. Honestly, she's a gift enough for me. All right, that was cheesy, but still. Look at who is on that list and just make sure that is somebody you feel you need to buy a gift for. And then set a limit. Write out a budget on how much you're going to spend. I can get away with spending a lot less on my 18-month-old nephew than I could for my 25-year-old niece. So look at what your budget is holding, set a limit, and I'm going to encourage you, see if you can get away with not putting it on a credit card at all. I know for some of you, you just went, yeah, right. And that's where the problem lies. In many cases, without a game plan, without a list, without a budget, and we just swipe those credit cards. And then fast forward 30 days, you get that bill and you're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe how much I spent. And I forgot that I'd already bought that gift for my mom. And then I bought her that second gift. And that third one was just perfect. You see where I'm getting at. So set a limit, have your Christmas list created with each person's name on that you're going to purchase for. And if there is somebody that you question should be on that list, have a conversation with them, just like my sister and I had. If we didn't talk about it, we both may have felt requirement to buy a gift since we're going to be together on Christmas. But by talking about it, it saved us both some money. So focus on being thoughtful and creative. It's not about the dollar amount. It's about what that meaning that gift brings to somebody. And I'm going to encourage you to keep track. I watched my mom do this every year growing up. She was masterful at keeping a list of her gift giving. And with 5 kids, you almost have to have equal amount of gifts under the tree. We divvied up all of the gifts, so everybody was surrounded by their gifts, and then we got to tear into them. Sometimes we went at the same time. Sometimes we went one gift at a time and around the circle. But I know my mom knew if my brother had a couple more gifts than what I had, I probably would have been pouting that morning rather than feeling grateful. So keep track and write it down so that way you can see that tally if you are using credit cards of what's getting charged to your credit card. The last thing we need is to add to that balance that you're trying so hard to pay off. And I know for some people this is going to hurt to hear, but stop trying to keep up with the Joneses. It doesn't matter what your best friend is doing for their kids. It doesn't matter what your next door neighbor is doing. It doesn't matter what your sister is doing for her kids. Give from your heart the kind of gift that you want to give to those you care most about. And try to avoid impulse buys. I had read this article where if you go into the stores when it's really busy, you actually might spend less because you might start feeling all the chaos around you and all you want to do is grab that gift and get out of that store. And I thought, That's really great information right there. That's how I am. I go to my favorite store, but when I feel like there's just a million people around me and I'm fighting my way down the aisles, it doesn't feel good. As opposed to an empty store where I get to stroll. If I'm strolling and taking my time, I'm putting more into that cart and spending more at the cash register. And so if it's not on your list, don't buy it. Those are impulse buys, and we tend to spend a lot of money on things that we weren't counting on spending. Another tip that I thought was really brilliant is go with a full tummy. If you're going to spend hours at the stores and at the mall, you might find yourself going and dropping $20 and $30 on lunch, so that way you can get back to shopping. All of that adds up and it cuts into your spending budget. And this is my personal favorite tip. If you like giving holiday or Christmas themed gifts, consider going to the stores the day after and shopping for next year. A lot of holiday gifts are marked down 50 to 70% the next day. And then just carefully package it, put it someplace that's labeled in your garage or your storage area, and make sure you put a label on it on who you bought that for, what the intention of that gift was. And I don't know about you, but if you receive something you don't really love and you're not really going to use, why don't you re-gift it? I love doing that for white elephant parties if you wind up going to a get-together that has that, and it's one less gift you're spending, $25 on. I just know January hits hard when you have a really big balance on your credit card. And with so many credit cards at 18 to 25% APR, if you're not paying that off quickly, right away, before that bill even accrues, you're paying interest on that money. So be mindful when you swipe that credit card, because it is proven fact that we spend more money when we swipe credit cards than when we pay cash. So I just want to throw out that warning so you don't get caught in that trap. But I want to wish you an amazing holiday season. I hope it is filled with your favorite people and creating amazing memories. Thank you so much for being with me for another episode. And until next time, my friends, stay well.
Subscribe now and share with a friend to stay in the loop for new credit content and insider tips to maximize your credit knowledge. And follow Credit Christie on Instagram.